You wrote that you want kids to, the teachers are to push kids to grapple with hard problems and to encourage new lines of inquiry around race. What did you mean by that?
Well, like adults are having conversations about race all the time as it comes to how it impacts our lives, right? And sometimes, yet, we recycle the same conversations for our young people, right? Like, for example, right? We'll have a conversation with young people, and, it'll be like Booker T. Washington versus W.B. Du Bois, like some sort of debate, something, right? And it'll be a recycled debate, right? And we'll pretend like those issues aren't happening now, and there's not a modern version of that debate for them to be having, that the adults in the real world are having at the same time. And the example I use in the book is about I think the hard problem example maybe that I use in the book is like kids engaging. They were coming to me a few years ago when funding was really bad for schools, and they're bringing in like toilet paper as school supplies, and like things are really rough. And they're coming to me like, what should we, why is it like this? It's one of those pop-up comments, like, why is it like this? And I could have a surface conversation about that, but then you have this conversation, like, well, how come some schools, do you think every school in the country has to bring in toilet paper as a school supply? You think reams of paper are normal school supplies for children to be bringing in? And we start having those conversations. And then what pushed it to a hard conversation, we started thinking about what would a suburban white person need to hear to support a fair funding formula? Like literally, what do they need to hear? And I have an example in the book about role-playing. We role-played that. We're like, the kids say, well, because it's fair. I'm like, well, my kids go to Lower Merion, so I'm cool. Well, my kids go to Cheltenham, I'm cool. Like, why do I have to pay more money for your kids? You're not my kids. Matter of fact, if you look at it the right way, you're competition for my kids. Why would I pay more money for Philadelphia? It don't make no sense. We started having some of these conversations, and the kids were having that good frustration where they're trying to like figure out like, how do we? And I said, you know what? This is what the state assembly is grappling with right now. They're having the real conversation, not the recycled one from the curriculum. Does that make sense?
It does, and there were some other examples as well where I think you might have bothered some of your students a little much, right? When you had the lesson on minstrel, right? When you
minstrel shows, yeah.
Minstrel shows, the 20th century minstrel shows, and I think you asked them to look for linkages to current day hip hop, and you actually displayed lyrics for them and asked them to sort of make sense of that. What prompted you to do that, and how did it go?
Well, I mean, and that's another the model conversation. That's the one about that's like a widely ranging conversation.
Yeah.
Right? I teach native son.
That's right.
To 10th graders, and at one point in the book, the boys, Bigger Thomas and his buddy are on the south side of Chicago, just on the street, just lounging around, and they're lounging, and they decide to play white, right? And I kind of, the first couple of years I taught it, I just kind of moved past that part. I just read it. And then one day I was preparing. I said, oh, wait, whoa, minstrel, whoa. It turned huge. Because in the thing, they like put on white voices, like, hello, the stuff like that. And they play it. And so I asked the kids just on a lark one day, I said, how many of you have done this? And they freaked out. Like all of them put their hands up, like, I've played white. I've played white. And we had a conversation about what does it mean? Like, why? What is this urge to play white? He said, well, it's funny. It's like making fun of Starbucks girls and stuff like that. Like having a conversation. And it turned into a real conversation. Then the obvious flip is, what is the urge to play black? Which is relevant now.
Yeah, it is.
Why do you keep putting on blackface? But literally why? Not just like what psychologically leads people to put on blackface. That's what I tried to tackle in that chat. Like, why would you? What urges drive you to do that? Why would you get in that picture? You know what I mean? Like the governor, why would you do that? Like, what would get you in that picture? Why is that even funny to you? Why is it even entertaining to you? What is that? Is it connected to your wanting to play white? which is a troubling connection, right? But we just unpacked it and see what went. The good and bad parts are in the chapter.